Hello children, welcome to aimstoday YouTube channel. So we are at the AIMS India live sessions. We have started already. So we are going to discuss about a chemistry subject. From this about chemical classification of matter, we are going to see now. We are in the chapter matter. In the earlier classes, we have studied about what is matter, what are the different kinds of classifications of matter. Out of those, one we have discussed already, that is the physical classification of matter. That is, that based upon the arrangement of the molecules present in the matter, that is classified into broadly three types, and along with these two special cases also we have discussed. So totally about five physical states of matter we discussed. What are those? Solids, liquids, gases. These are general states of matter. The two special states of matter are plasma and Bose-Einstein condensate. We discussed about them. Now, in this session, we are going to discuss about different chemical classifications of matter. That means, based upon the chemical substances present in the matter, based upon the type of particles present in the matter can be classified into different categorizations. So that we are going to see in this now. When we talk about matter, usually we talk about a substance which possesses distinct properties and has a definite composition. Yes, based upon the composition, we say different types of matters. All the matters they will be having special composition for them. Composition is the type of particles present in them. Every matter has a special kind of particles in that. For example, sugar, table salt, water, gasoline, etc. These all are the different forms of matter. All these forms have special properties of particles in them, one kind of particles in them. All these matters are not having same kind of particles in those. So as it is shown here, all the substances do not have same composition, but it can be identified by their unique properties. Yes, even though these all are not made up of same kind of particles, they have some special properties. Based upon those properties, they can be distinguished from one to another. These properties depending upon the type of particles present in them. So based upon that, this classification is done. Matter is classified into two broad categories, namely pure substances and mixtures. Yes, based upon the chemical class, by coming to chemical classification, matter is broadly classified into two types. They are pure substances and impure substances or mixtures. Pure substances are further divided into two categories. They are elements and compounds. In the same way or similarly, mixtures or impure substances are also classified into two types. They are homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. So what is the classification we can say? Matter is classified into two categories based upon the purity. Means that based upon the type of particles existing in it. Based upon the type of chemicals present in it. It is categorized into two types. They are pure substances and impure substances or mixtures. These pure substances again two types. They are elements and compounds. These impure substances or mixtures are again of two types. They are homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. So this is a complete picture about the classification of matter based upon the purity. Pure substances means they contain only one kind of composition, only one kind of particles in them. They are called pure substances. They are categorized into two types again, elements and compounds. So elements contain only one kind of atoms in them. Compounds contain molecules which are made up of more than one kind of atoms. See, different kinds of atoms are there in its molecules. So only one kind of molecules will be in the compounds, but these compound molecules are made up of more than one kind of atoms. If molecules are made up of only one kind of atoms, they are called elements. If the matter is made up of the same kind of particles, but those particles are made up of more than one kind of atoms, then that is said to be compound. So in this way, pure substances are of two types, elements and compounds. So we come to the second category of matter, that is mixtures. Mixtures or impure substances are made up of more than one kind of particles in them. So they might be made up of one or more elements or one or more compounds or elements and compounds. By mixing these impure substances might be formed. So these impure substances again of two types, heterogeneous and homogeneous mixtures. So this is about chemical classification of matter. So let us see these one by one. First about pure substances. Pure chemical substance is any matter that has a fixed chemical composition and characteristic properties. Yes, it is a pure substance is containing only one kind of particles in that. It is having fixed chemical composition and has some special properties or characteristic properties to that. For example, oxygen is a pure chemical substance, that is a colorless and odorless gas, because it is made up of only one kind of molecules. They are O2 molecules, oxygen molecules. It is made up of only one kind of molecule. So it is a pure substance, and it has some characteristic properties like it is colorless, odorless, and even it is a supporter of combustion. There are some peculiar properties for it. These are unique for oxygen gas, because it is made up of only one kind of particles in it. Hence, it is a pure substance. The substance containing particles of only one kind are pure substances. Yes, we told this. So, if it is containing only one kind of particle, then it is called pure substance. For example, yeah, here they have given some examples for the pure substances: iron, silver, oxygen, carbon dioxide, sodium chloride. If you observe, there iron, silver, oxygen, these are all of the elements in the pure form, or pure form which are categorized as elements. They are made up of only one kind of atoms. If you see carbon dioxide, sodium chloride, these are also pure substances, but they come under compounds because they are made up of, their particles are made up of more than one kind of atoms in there. Okay, these pure substances are further divided into elements and compounds we told. So these sodium and oxygen, they come under elemental classification. Or this sodium chloride, carbon dioxide, they come under compounds classification. A pure substance can be either an element or a compound. First of all, the elements are the building blocks of matter. Yes, whatever the matter it is made up of these elements. It may either might be in the pure form or in the compound form or in the mixture form. Anyhow, these elements are the building blocks of every matter. Okay, next. So let us come to the elements first. So the pure form of matter, pure substance is divided into elements and compounds. First, let us say about elements. What are those elements? An element is a substance that is either discovered in the nature or synthesized in the laboratory in pure form that cannot be separated into simpler substances by chemical methods. Yeah, it is definition for the elements. Actually, the simplest and pure substance which cannot be further divided into simpler particles is called an element. Right? It might be discovered in the nature, or can be, which is some elements are prepared in the laboratory, synthesized in the laboratory. In order to call it as an element, its properties must be unique. No two elements are alike. Yes, there are so many elements, but no two elements are having similar properties. All the properties may not be same for any two elements, and each and every element has its unique properties. Okay. Elements carry the names and the symbols. Yes, each and every element has its own symbol and its own name. For example, we see hydrogen, it has a symbol H. We see carbon, it has symbol C. And nitrogen, N. Oxygen, O. Sulfur, S. In this way, how many elements are there, children? Yes, you can answer. You can give in the live chat present here. How many? How many elements discovered so far? Yes, it is 118 elements are known. 118 elements are discovered so far by scientists. So out of these 118 elements, 92 elements are naturally discovered from the nature. 92 elements. The remaining elements are synthesized in the laboratory from the known elements. Okay, all these elements are having their own name along with the own symbol. For every element, there is a unique symbol. No two elements are having same name or same symbol. They have unique. So the classification of elements. There are around 118 elements so far. Out of these, as I told, 92 elements are naturally occurring elements, and the remaining are artificially synthesized from the already existing elements. On the basis of their general characteristics, they are broadly divided into four groups. Yes, these elements are broadly divided into four groups. They are metals, non-metals, metalloids, and inert gases or noble gases. Now we are going to discuss about these different types of elements, about metals, non-metals, metalloids, and inert gases. Let us discuss about one by one. First among them are metals. Metallic elements are in general exhibit the following properties. They exhibit metals. They exhibit certain properties. Based upon those properties, certain elements are categorized as elements. So, what are those properties? Let us see here. Metals are solids at room temperature. Yes, almost all the metals are solids. Hard solids too. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Yes, all the metals they can conduct electricity and they can pass heat also through them. So they are good conductors of heat and electricity. Metals are malleable, ductile, sonorous, and have luster. What are these properties here? Malleable means metals can be beaten into thin sheets. Say some tools are made up of metal sheets like vessels which we use at home. So those vessels are made up of metals. So there the metals are beaten into thin sheets to make those vessels. The property of metals by which they can be beaten into thin sheets is called malleability. Metals have this malleable property. Next one, ductile. Ductile means, is it a ductile? No, it is a special property of metals by which they can be drawn into thin wires. If you observe those electrical wires in our homes, they contain brown colored wires which are passing electricity. Those wires are made up of copper, we know. So there, copper metal is made into thin wires. That property by which metals are made into thin wires is called ductility or ductile property. So metals have this ductile property. Next one, sonorous. The sonorous means producing sound. In our schools, they use bells for ringing. So these metals they can produce sound when they are hit with some object. That property by which they can produce sound is called sonority or sonorous property. And luster. Luster means shining property. All the metals they shine when they are in the pure form. They are on the surface they will have some luster. So these are the special properties of metals, right? Next, metals are strong. They have high tensile strength. What does it mean here? Tensile strength. Bearing much strain is called tensile strength. Very fine example for this, if you see the spokes of our cycle wheels, they'll be very thin, isn't it? Thin spokes are made up of steel or iron. Even though they are very thin, they can bear much weight. Even if we say 2 members or 3 members also, they can bear us. That bearing much strain is called tensile strength. This tensile strength is much high for metals. Right? Because of this reason only they are used in constructions mostly. Most of the metals are hard. Yes, most of the metals are hard. Metals have high densities. Yes, they are much denser. So the metals are having all these properties. Most of all the metals are having these all properties. But there are some exceptions from this. Some elements they do not have one or more than one of these properties. They do not exhibit. Even though they are metals, they won't exhibit one of these properties. Let us see those exceptions here. Mercury is a liquid metal at normal or room temperature, and gallium becomes liquid above 30 degrees Celsius temperature. Yes, actually, all the metals are solids at room temperature, but mercury only metal which exists in liquid state at room temperature. Room temperature means generally we say 25 degrees Celsius temperature. At this temperature, only mercury will be in the liquid state. Almost all the remaining metals are in the solid state only. Of course, by increasing temperature a little, means if you increase the temperature to nearly 30 or above 30 degrees Celsius temperature, then one more metal will come into liquid state. That is gallium. Gallium is also one of the metal which converts into liquid at very low temperatures, just above 30 degrees Celsius. So these two are exceptions, right? Zinc metal is not malleable and ductile at room temperature. As we said, mostly all the metals are malleable and ductile. But some metals are there like zinc. They cannot be beaten into shades or they cannot be drawn into wires. They are brittle. Okay. Next, some metals like sodium, potassium are soft metals. Yes, they won't be hard. They will be soft like our soap. Even they can be cut with a knife. We can cut them with a knife also. Such as soft those metals are. Like sorry, like sodium, potassium, lithium. These metals are soft metal. They can be cut with even a knife also. So these are the exceptions for the general properties of metals. Next, here we see different examples of metal they have shown: copper, iron, aluminium, and some alloys made up of metal. Alloys means we know the metals are made from mixture of two or more metals. The substances made from two or more metals by mixing in the liquid form are called as the alloys. So these are come under alloys here. Okay, these are different examples of metals. Next, non-metals. Non-metals are in general, non-metals in general exhibit the following characteristic properties. Yes. So for non-metals also there are some peculiar properties. So when these substances are exhibiting these properties, they can be considered as non-metals. What are those properties? Let us see here. Most of the non-metals are soft solids at room temperature or gases. So mostly non-metals are soft solids either or gases. Non-metals have dull surface. Yes, they do not shine. They don't have any luster. Non-metals are brittle. Brittle means here they mentioned brittle. Non-metals are solid. Non-metals are brittle. Brittle means they can break up. They can break easily when they are fallen down. Very fine example for this we can say rock salt. I think you have seen rock salt they use in villages for baking these pickles and these all. It will be very hard. It seems like a very hard stones. Rocks, common salt we say. That will be seen very hard. But when it is fallen down, those pieces will be broken into very simple small pieces. So they break easily when they are fallen down. That nature seems very hard, but breaking into small pieces very easily is called brittle nature. One more example, you can say glass. How will be the glass when you touch will be very hard, isn't it? But when you throw a glass piece down, immediately that glass breaks up into small pieces. That nature is called brittle nature. So even these non-metal solids are also brittle in nature. Non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity, means they cannot conduct electricity, whereas metals can. Okay. Non-metals are ductile, non-malleable, and non-sonorous, means they cannot be drawn into thin wires. This is non-ductile. They cannot be beaten into thin sheets. That is non-malleable. They are non-sonorous. They won't produce any sound. So these are properties of non-metals. So the elements which are possessing these properties are coming under non-metals. General properties of non-metals. Where, as we said, there's some exceptions in the metals. Here in non-metals also, some of non-metals are there which are exceeding these properties, which don't show certain properties of these. So those let us see here the exceptions from these non-metals here. One of them is graphite. Graphite has a luster and is a good conductor of heat and electricity. We told non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity and non-lustrous. They won't shine, we told. But one of the exceptions is graphite. In our pencil leads also, that black substance is made of graphite. It will be shiny, isn't it? It is shiny. And it is a good conductor of heat and electricity also. Whereas remaining non-metals are bad conductors. Okay, that is one exception. Next one, bromine. Bromine is a liquid non-metal. Out of all the metals, only one is in the liquid state, that is mercury. Out of non-metals also, only one is there in liquid form, that is bromine. Bromine is a brownish, reddish brown colored gas, liquid. It is a liquid at room temperature. Remaining all are either solids or gases. Only one is in the liquids, that is bromine. Examples of non-metals we can see here. Yes, sulfur, red phosphorus, carbon. Yes, these are the solids, soft solids we can say. They are brittle also. So here it sounds like hard stones. When this piece of sulfur fell down on the floor, it breaks up easily into small pieces that we said brittle in nature. So most of the non-metals are soft solids or gases. Can you say some example of the non-metal gases? Yes, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, chlorine. These all are the non-metallic elements which are in the gaseous state. Here we have shown some solid state non-metals. Okay, that is about non-metals. Next, metalloids. Metalloids exhibit the properties that lie in between that of metals and non-metals. Yes, some elements are there which exhibits the properties of metals and non-metals. Some properties of metals will be shown and some properties of non-metals are shown by these elements. Such elements are called metalloids. Here are examples for the metalloids you can say boron, germanium, silicon, polonium, tellurium, bismuth. Uh, these all come under metalloids. These elements they will show the properties of metals as well as non-metals. Certain properties of metals will be shown and some properties of non-metals are shown by these elements. Such kind of elements which are showing the properties of metals and non-metals are called as metalloids. So these examples are metalloids. Okay, children. Next, the fourth category of elements, inert gases or noble gases, are also called stable gases. The gaseous elements which do not combine with other elements and even themselves and exist as individual atoms are called inert gases. Yes, these elements are not at all participating in the chemical reactions. They won't combine with any other elements and even they won't combine themselves also. They will be always in the free form. In the atomic form they will be. Each and every atom will be individual. Such kind of elements are called inert gases or noble gases. These are also called aerogens, rare gases, zero group elements also. Okay, there are the other names for these noble gases. Here are examples for the noble gases they have shown: helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon. So mostly they are used, these noble gases are used in advertisement glow bulbs. What are these advertisement glow bulbs? When we go to into a main street in our cities in the night time, we see some signboards on the shops, which are those names are written with some bulbs. Those bulbs are bent in different name shapes, isn't it? Those bulbs are filled with these noble gases. So because of these noble gases filled in them, they are glowing in the different colors. So here also they have shown different colors for different noble gases. So these noble gases are used mostly in the filling of advertisement glow bulbs. And even this helium gas is used in filling of weather observatory balloons also. Okay, children, that is about noble gases or inert gases. Next, about the second category of pure substances, that is compounds. A compound is a substance formed by the chemical union of two or more elements in a definite ratio, which is fixed by the nature. Yes, compounds are formed by the combination of two or more elements chemically. There, the combination is fixed in the fixed ratio. This is done naturally. We cannot change this ratio, no matter who it does it. So, however it is formed, we cannot change this ratio. A compound has always a fixed ratio of elements in it. For example, if you say water is made up of one part of oxygen and two parts of hydrogen by volume. This ratio is fixed by the nature and we cannot alter this. So, wherever you collect water, if you observe chemistry of water, the chemical composition of water, always in water, in the formation of water, two volumes of hydrogen will combine with one volume of oxygen. This is fixed for water. However you form this water, wherever you collect this water, from wherever you extract this water, the composition of water will be always H2O. So in that way, for a compound, the chemical composition is always fixed and the elements are combined chemically in a fixed ratio. We cannot change or we cannot alter this composition for a compound. There are millions of different compounds around you. Yes, the number of elements is limited or fixed presently. It is 118 elements so far. From these 118 elements only, these all elements are combined in different ratios with different elements and forming numerous number of compounds. There are millions of compounds. Even scientists are discovering some more elements day by day. So there are so many crores of compounds are there in the universe. Probably everything you can see in one type of compound or another. So whatever you see around you, it might be one type of compound or it might be some other. Everything in this one is made up of certain compounds, right? When elements join and become compounds, the new compound formed have few or none of the physical or chemical properties of the original elements. They have a new life of their own. Yes. So when suppose example we told water is formed. It is formed from hydrogen and oxygen. They are combined chemically to form water. Now the properties of water, they might be entirely different from the properties of hydrogen and oxygen. The physical and chemical properties almost they might be different, or one or two properties may be similar, but mostly the properties will be completely different from which the elements which it formed. For example, you see water is a liquid, but from where it is formed, from the gaseous elements hydrogen and oxygen, right? The physical state of those elements is gas, whereas the formed chemical is compound is liquid. In this way, the properties of the compound formed might be completely different or mostly different from the properties of those elements from which it is formed, right? That is about compound children. These are chemical classification for first part. About pure substances. Pure substances are classified into two types. They are elements and compounds. Elements again classified into four types. They are metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases. Next, second category, compounds. How many compounds are there? They are uncountable. There is no limit. There are so many counts of number of compounds there. But elements are limited till now. They are 118. Right? This is about chemical classification and pure elements, pure substances, elements and compounds. The second category we are going to see later. Now based upon this part, let us have some assessment. We are going to give some questions to you. You can answer them through the live chat. Okay children, get ready. First question. Out of 118 elements known today, how many are naturally occurring elements? I told this. Till now, scientists they have discovered 118 elements so far. Out of these 118 elements, how many elements are naturally occurring? How many the remaining are synthetic we told. So how many those? Yes, you can give answer. Let me say options also. 100, 92, 36 or 26. How many children? You can give your answer in the chart. Yes, good. It is 92. 92 elements are naturally occurring out of these 118. Remaining elements are synthetic or man-made elements. They are prepared from already existing elements by some chemical nuclear reactions we say. Okay, anyhow, 92 are naturally occurring. Right, next question. The symbol of the element sulfur. What is the symbol for the element sulfur? Yes, is it SL? Is it SP or SR or S? What is the correct answer? Yes, what is the correct symbol for S? You can guess it, you can give answer. Good, some of you have given correct answer, right? Yes, let me say here. This is sulfur. Sulfur symbol is yes. Very good, it is yes. Next, the non-metallic element that has a luster and is a good conductor of heat and electricity is, what is that element? Let us see options: diamond, gold, graphite and platinum. Out of these elements, which is a non-metallic element has a luster and a good conductor of heat and electricity? What is it children? Yes, it is Graphite. Very good. It is graphite. Next, a liquid metal at room temperature. Out of all the metals, mostly all the metals are solids, but only one is in liquid state, we told. What is it? Oh, already some of you have given correct answer, right? Without options. Let me say options. The remaining also can try. Bromine, mercury, iodine, and water. Out of this, which is a liquid metal? Yes, good. It is mercury. Bromine is a liquid non-metal, whereas mercury is a liquid metal. Good. Okay, children. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates. So, while after watching these videos in our YouTube channel, if you click on this subscribe now, you can get live updates to your mobile directly. Suppose tomorrow we are going to have one chemistry class. About that chemistry class, one notification will be given you to your mobile before the class, so that you can watch those live classes without missing. So this can be done when you subscribe our channel. Unfortunately, if you miss any class, if you miss any live sessions, don't worry. These all live sessions will be uploaded into our YouTube channel as recorded videos. There you can see all the missed live sessions, and if you want to revise once again, you can see the all videos later whenever you want. Okay, children. Thank you.